দুইটা সকালে।
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय
जय
श्रील वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय
जय
श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा dear devotees. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Leela. One second. Yes. So let me make it bigger. So we were reading the Nagar Sankirtan, the first Nagar Sankirtan performed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in civil disobedience to Chand Kazi's order to not perform kirtan at home, to not play musical instruments or to perform kirtan at home. So Mahaprabhu invited all the people of Navadvip to assemble in front of his house with torches, and by evening there were millions of people. From where so many people came, nobody knows, but there were millions and millions of people assembled, and Mahaprabhu led everyone in kirtan. And there were kirtan parties, 7 kirtan parties. Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, and the Lord himself was there with Nityananda Prabhu and Gadadhar Pandit in the center, in the middle. And in each party there were so many mridangas, so many kartals, so many dancers. There's a lead dancer and lead singer, and then there is other devotees singing behind. And then all of them are surrounded by so many millions of people, devotees following. So they all, so that's that's what we are reading here. And there's a description of the Lord, how beautiful he looked with his yellow garments, and there's a flower garland in his hair, and so gracefully he's dancing. I kind of forget if we already read about the demigods coming in their airplanes and falling off from their airplanes. Did we read that part also? Yeah. So
We were supposed to start from the song.
yes, Mataji. I'm just trying to recollect what are the other things that we read so far in this pastime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So I don't see that part whether maybe it'll come now. The demigods coming. Okay, so we'll continue. The kirtan started. At the time of kirtan, they played all these instruments with happy hearts. Everyone sang like that. They were singing, chanting with great joy. Now they are with the Lord, so they were not experiencing any fear of the Kazi. Okay. So Advaita Acharya would be in the first group, then Haridas Thakur, then Srivas Pandit, like that. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Nityananda Prabhu. And then behind him again there are more kirtan parties. Okay. Yeah, they were so blissful, all the devotees. What bliss in the devotees' hearts. The devotees floated in an ocean of happiness. He was dancing in the city. Everyone felt, just being in his presence, seeing him dance, they felt that all their sufferings would soon perish. Everyone left their homes and they came to participate in this kirtan. And then all of a sudden the Lord roared, Hari, right? It was so loud. Okay, the kirtan. Yeah, okay. So we'll just start now. Also, all the homes were decorated with all auspicious things. So there were full water pots and there were banana trees and
And the thieves forgot to steal.
correct. So the thieves thought nobody's at home, everyone is in the kirtan, and the homes are all, the doors are open. Let's go and steal. They thought this is an opportunity. And they went there. They heard the kirtan also. They were running towards homes very happily. Now we are going to steal. But they heard the kirtan and they also forgot that they're supposed to steal. They started singing and dancing in ecstasy in the kirtan. Yeah. Millions and millions of.
And they were carrying lamps and lots of fuels, big
Lots of
fuels for
fuel.
the. For
Correct.
Oh,
Actually,
they had
they had
four
four
hands.
arms, right?
They had
They were
four hands.
holding two torches and then they were holding oil, the fuel for
Ah,
that. How they were holding, they also didn't know, but actually they had manifested four arms. But everyone was so lost in ecstasy, they didn't notice themselves or others that they were actually four armed. Yes. Yeah. So seeing the Lord's ecstatic symptoms of trembling, perspiring, and bodily hair standing erect, even the blasphemers felt their thoughts begin to dance. Yes. Chanting Hari and Rama, Rama, Hari and Rama, Rama. People simply danced in that. Thousands and millions of people were there. Blissfully dancing, they proceeded in Navadvip. And what was the Lord singing? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudan. And people were, now they all, they were all worked up in this kirtan. They went into ecstasy, rolling on the ground, and they were also angry at Kazi, right? They were so fearful of the Kazi that they were not performing kirtan. Now they are saying, where is that rascal Kazi? Catch him, right? We will sever his head, like that. So they were not afraid because now they were with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that. All the people of Nadia floated in the nectar of bliss, the same bliss that overwhelms Brahma, Shiva, and Anantasesh. Dancing with his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions, the king of Vaikunta proceeded on the path by the Ganga's bank. Never had such bliss come to the earth. Every path in every direction was filled with bliss. It was as if there was no longer even a single sesame seed's worth of sin anywhere on the earth. The highest purity was present in every place. Dancing, handsome and fair limbed Lord Chaitanya proceeded on the path. Surrounding him in the four directions, the singing devotees followed him. Now the song. How do we sing this? Tuya charane mana. Nahin, I don't know how this goes, the tune, so I'll just read it. तुया चरणे मन लागा हूं रे सारंग धर तुया चरणे मन लागा हूं रे. I place my heart at your feet. Well aware of what is the best, I place my heart at your feet. So the Lord is singing and the devotees are singing, right? So who's saying this? I place my heart at your feet. Well aware of what is the best, I place my heart at your feet. Chaitanya, so this is Vrindavan Das Thakur. Chaitanya Chandrera Ei Adi Sankirtan Bhakta Gana Gaya Nache Sri Sachinandan. This was Lord Chaitanya's first Sankirtan. The devotees sang and Lord Chaitanya danced. Everyone accompanied Lord Chaitanya in the kirtan. Where are we going? No one knew. Thousands and millions of people sang the names of Lord Hari. This is real intoxication. People try to get intoxicated by taking drugs and wine, but this is actual intoxication. They had no clue where they were going, they were completely lost in the ecstasy. Thousands and millions of people sang the names of Lord Hari. It was as if hearing the kirtan, the material universe was about to break apart. All the worlds up to Brahmaloka, Shivaloka, and Vaikuntaloka became filled with bliss. The bliss had no end. Accompanied by their associates, the demigods came to see. Seeing, now the demigods are coming. Seeing, they and their associates fell unconscious. That moment, all the demigods attained Lord Chaitanya's association. Assuming human forms, they joined in the kirtan. Brahma, Shiva, Varuna, Kuvera, Indra, Yamaraj, Soma, and many other demigods came. Seeing the wonderful and unprecedented spiritual bliss, they all assumed human forms and attained Lord Chaitanya's association. In this way, the demigods and human beings together chanted Hari, filling the sky. All the great torches burned brightly. At every doorway were banana trees, full water pots, rice, durva grass, lamps, and mangoes. These are all auspicious. Who has the power to describe the opulences of Nadia? Within it were numberless towns, houses, courtyards, and marketplaces. Hundreds of millions of people lived there. Not just millions, hundreds of millions. Who is foolish enough to try to count them all? When the Lord descended to this world, he arranged that all these people would take birth again. Would take birth there. So the Lord when he decided that he's going to come to this earth, he arranged for all these people to take birth in Navadvip. That is why so many people lived in that one place. The women called out Jai and Hari. Even in 100,000 years, I could not describe the glory of these pastimes. Everyone gazed at the Lord as he danced. No one had the power to think of anything but him. Seeing the Lord's mercy and hearing him weep, even the most sinful debauchees fell to the ground and also wept, calling out, Chant, chant! Handsome and fair limbed Lord Chaitanya danced. A very charming flower garland decorated his entire body. The Lord wore a sacred thread and thrice folded garments. His eyes were lotus flowers. His body was covered with dust. His tears of love flowed like the celestial Ganga. Anyone who sees his face will no longer think the moon very glorious. Tears flowed along his nose without stop, tears like a slender string of pearls. His handsome curly hair was wonderfully bound and splendid with a string of jasmine flowers. O Lord, please give me this gift, birth after birth. Please always enjoy pastimes in my heart. The whole world spoke this prayer as the Lord, who is Sachi's son, gracefully danced. So, this was the prayer of all the people, that birth after birth, may I see this form of yours, may I see you performing kirtan like this, perform pastimes like this in my heart. The dearest devotees danced in front, and he who is the king of Vaikuntha danced behind them. Lord Chaitanya knows how to encourage his devotees. As the devotees acted, so did he. So he was behind them. So he was kind of copying behind them, like whatever they did. So the way they did, he would follow behind. Why he would do that? Because this would encourage the devotees. Lord Chaitanya knows how to encourage the devotees. So he had the dearest devotees in the front, he was in the back. And the way they acted, he will also act the same way. In this way, Lord Chaitanya danced and danced. Accompanied by everyone, the Lord proceeded on the Ganga's path. He who is the king of Vaikuntha danced in all of Nadia. In the four directions, the devotees sang his sacred glories. Hari bolo mugdha loka, Hari Hari bolo re. Nama bhase nahi rae, Shamana bhayare. O bewildered people, chant Hari, chant Hari, Hari. When even the dim reflection of the holy name is present, there is no longer any fear of Yamaraj. Ei saba kirtane nachaye Gaurachandra, Brahmadi sebaye Yara Pada Padma Dvandva. As everyone sang these words, Lord Chaitanya, whose two lotus feet Brahma and all the demigods serve, danced a song in Pahira Raga. नाचे विश्वंभर जगत ईश्वर भागीरथी तीरे तीरे जार पद धूली होय कुतूहली सबेई धोरिला shire. Lord Chaitanya, who is the king of all the universes, Lord Chaitanya, who is the king of all the universes, and the dust of whose feet everyone joyfully placed on their heads, danced by the Ganga's bank. अपूर्व बिकार नयने सुधार हुंकार गर्जन शुनि हासिया हासिया श्री भुज तुलिया बोले हरि हरि बाणी. His ecstatic symptoms were wonderful and unprecedented. A stream of tears flowed from his eyes. Everyone heard his loud roars. Laughing and laughing, with upraised arms, he called out, Hari, Hari. मदन सुंदर गौर कलेबर दिव्य बासे परिधान चाचर चिकुरे माला मनोहरे जैन देखी पांच बाण. Lord Chaitanya's fair form was more handsome than Kamdev. His garments were splendid. A garland of flowers decorated his charming curly hair. He looked like Kamdev. चंदन चरित श्री अंग शोभित गले डोले बनमाला धुलिया धुलिया पड़ये प्रेमे थिर नाहे आनंदे सचीर बाला. His graceful arms were anointed with sandal paste. A garland of forest flowers swung to and fro on his neck. He swayed to and fro and then he fell down. Okay, so Dhuliya Padaye. Overcome with love, he could not stand still. Sachi's son was filled with bliss. I'll read the translation again. His graceful arms were anointed with sandal paste. A garland of forest flowers swung to and fro on his neck. He swayed to and fro and then fell down. Overcome with love, he could not stand still. Sachi's son was filled with bliss. Kamasharasan Bhru Jugapattan Bhale Malayaja Bindu Mukuta Dashan Sri Juta Badan Prakriti Karuna Sindhu. His eyebrows were Kamadev's quivers. Quivers hold arrows. So his eyebrows were quivers of arrows. His forehead was decorated with sandal paste dots. His teeth were pearls. His face was glorious. His nature was an ocean of mercy. Shane Shata Shat Bikare Adbhut Koto Koribo Nishchay Ashrukampa Gharma Pulaka Baibarnya Na Jani Kateka Hoy. Each moment he manifested hundreds and hundreds of ecstatic symptoms. How could he be peaceful? He wept, trembled, perspired, and became pale. The hairs of his body stood erect. I do not know all the ecstatic symptoms he manifested. Tribhanga hoya kabhu dandaiya angule murali bai jini matta gaj chalai sahaj dekhi nayana judai. Sometimes his form bent in 3 places, and with his fingers he played the flute. His graceful motions defeated the graceful maddened elephants. He looked with graceful eyes. Ati manohar yagya sutra bar sadaya hridaye shobhe e buji anant hoi gunabant rahila parasha shobhe. A very charming sacred thread graced his merciful chest. I think that thread was saintly Anantasesh himself, who assumed that form so he could touch the Lord. Nityananda Chand Madhavanandan Shobha Kore Dui Pashe Jata Priya Gan Koraye Kirtan Saba Chahi Chahi Hase. Nityananda Chandra and Gadadhar were splendid and splendid at his 2 sides. 1 second. Somebody is not mute. One second. Okay. Everyone is mute. I'm just hearing some sounds. Okay. So Nityananda Chandra and Gadadhar were splendid at his 2 sides. The multitudes of dear devotees performed kirtan. Looking at them all, the Lord smiled. Jahara Kirtan Kori Anukshan Shiva Digambara Bhola Se Prabhu Bihare Nagare Nagare Koriya Kirtana Khela. Assuming the form of a sannyasi, clothed only by the 4 directions, moment after moment, Lord Shiva sang in the kirtan. In this, going from town to town, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed his kirtan pastimes. So, Lord Shiva is singing in the kirtan of Mahaprabhu. Which kirtan? In which Mahaprabhu is going from town to town, singing, enjoyed his kirtan pastime. He's singing the holy name. Jai koraye besh, jai anga jai kesh. Jai koraye besh, jai anga jai kesh. Kamala lalasa kore, se prabhu dhulai, gadagadi jai, prati nagare nagare. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose garments, hair, and limbs Goddess Lakshmi yearns to touch, now sways to and fro and rolls on the ground in town after town. Laksha koti deepe chandera aloke न जानी की भेला सुखे सकल samsar hari bahi ar न बोलाई करे मुखे. Thousands and millions of torches shone like the moon. How did all this happen? I do not know. In the whole world, Hari was the only sound. No other sound came from any mouth. अपूर्व कौतुक देखी सर्वलोक आनंदे होइलो भोर सबेई सबार चाहिया बदन बोले भाई हरि बोल. Seeing these wonderful pastimes, everyone became blissful. Oh my brothers, looking at each other's faces, everyone called out Hari Bol. Prabhura Anand Jane Nityanand Jakhono Je Rupa Hoy Podibare Bele Dui Bahu Mele Jena Ange Prabhu Roy. Nityananda understood Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy. Whenever Lord Chaitanya was about to fall, Nityananda held out his arms and caught the Lord's body. Okay. Whenever the Lord was about to fall, Nityananda Prabhu would hold out his arms and catch Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. Nityananda Dhori, Birasana Kori, Kshane Mahaprabhu Baise, Bama Kakshe Tali, Diya Kutuhali, Hari Hari Boli Hase. One time when Nityananda caught him, Lord Chaitanya sat down in a Virasana yoga posture. Placing his hand on the left side of his abdomen, the Lord blissfully called out, Hari Hari, and laughed. Akapate kshane, kohaye apane, mui deva narayan, kamsasura mari, mui se kamsari, boli choliya baman. Another moment, Lord Chaitanya very sincerely said, I am Lord Narayan. After I killed the demon Kamsa, I became known as Kamsa's enemy, Kamsari. I became Vamana and cheated Bali. Setu bandha kori, Ravana samhari, mui se Raghava rai, Koriya hunkar, Tattva apanar, kohi chari dige chai. I built the bridge. I killed Ravana. I am Ramchandra, king of the Raghavas. Loudly declaring the truth about himself, Lord Chaitanya looked in the four directions. Je bujhe se tattva achintya mahatva, sei kshane kohe an. Dante trina dhori, Prabhu Prabhu boli, magaye bhakati dan. Who can understand these truths, the inconceivable glories of the Lord? The next moment, Lord Chaitanya said something completely different, placing a blade of grass between his teeth and calling out, Lord, Master. Lord Chaitanya begged for the gift of devotional service. Jakhona je kore gauranga sundare saba manohara lila apana badane apana charane anguli dhoriya khela. All of handsome and fair-limbed Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, like the pastime when he placed his toe in his mouth, charmed the heart. Vaikuntha Ishwar Prabhu Bishwambhar Saba Navadvipe Nache Shvetadvipa Nam Nabadvipa Gram Bede Prakashiba Pache. Lord Chaitanya, who is the king of Vaikuntha, danced in all of Navadvip. The town of Navadvip is identical with Shvetadvip. In the future, the Vedas will reveal this truth. Mandira Mridanga, Karatala Shankha, Na Jani Kateka Baje, Mahahari Dhvani, Chaturdike Shuni, Majhe Shobhe Dvija Raje. I do not know how many kartals, mridangas, and conch shells were sounded. A great sound of Hari was heard in the four directions. In the center of all this shone Lord Chaitanya, the king of the Brahmanas. Jaya 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 Nagara Kirtan, Jaya Vishwambhar Nritya, Vimsha Pada Geet, Chaitanya Charit, Jaya Chaitanyera Bhritya. Glory, glory, glory to the Kirtan in the town. Glory to Lord Chaitanya's dancing. Glory to Lord Chaitanya's servants. This song of 20 stanzas glorifies Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Jai dike chai Vishwambara Rai, Se dik preme bhase, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Thakur Nityananda, Gai Brindavana Dase. Wherever he looked, Lord Chaitanya saw everyone floating in ecstatic love. Vrindavan Das sings this song glorifying Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So this is the song of Vrindavan Das Thakur glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. In this way, the master of all the worlds joyfully performed kirtan in every town and village. The continual chanting of Lord Hari's names filled all the worlds, broke the boundary of the universe and entered Vaikuntha. Then Lord Chaitanya, the king of Vaikuntha, joyfully jumped in the air. Defeating the maddened lion, the Lord made great waves. Everyone joyfully encircled him to watch. Can you imagine? Mahaprabhu jumped in the air. Everyone circled, and he defeated even a maddened lion. Everyone joyfully encircled him to watch. Dancing, Lord Chaitanya proceeded on the path that goes by the Ganga shore in Nadia. Lord Chaitanya danced for a long time at his own bathing ghat. Then he went to Madhai's Ghat. Then he went to Varakona Ghat and Nagariya Ghat. He passed through town after town by the Ganga's bank until he came to Simuliya. Thousands and millions of torches brightly burned in the four directions. Thousands and millions of people chanted Hari in the four directions. The moonlight was very wonderful to see. No one could tell whether it was day or night. At every doorway were beautiful and auspicious banana trees, full water pots, mangoes, and burning lamps. Standing in the sky, all the demigods from Swargaloka showered champaka and jasmine flowers. So these are not earthly jasmine and champaka, these are from Swarga. Thus there was a shower of flowers. In the form of these flowers, the earth goddess of Navadvip extended her tongue. In the form of these flowers, the earth goddess of Navadvip extended her tongue. That means flowers come on the earth, so she's offering these flowers. So in the form of these flowers, she's extending her tongue. But of course, the flowers are also being showered from the heavens. So aware that the Lord's lotus feet were very delicate and soft, the goddess extended her tongue in the form of these flowers. So both are happening. From top, the demigods are showering flowers, but also the earth goddess is also offering flowers so that the Lord's lotus feet will, his soft lotus feet, delicate lotus feet will not be hurt. So she's offering flowers. So that she's extending her tongue in the form of the lotus flower, the flowers. Aware that the Lord's lotus feet were very delicate and soft, the goddess extended her tongue in the form of these flowers. In front danced Shrivas, Advaita, and Haridas. Behind them danced Lord Chaitanya, the creator of everything. When the Lord entered a town, everyone stopped their household duties and ran to him. Seeing the Lord's moon-like face, which is the life of all the worlds, everyone offered Dandavata obeisances. Forgetting their husbands, children, homes, and wealth, the women made auspicious sounds and chanted Hari. In town after town, many millions of townspeople became wild, intoxicated by drinking the nectar of love for Lord Krishna. Some danced, some sang, some called out Hari, some, forgetting who they were, rolled on the ground. Some used their mouths to play different musical instruments, beatboxing. So they used their mouths to play different musical instruments. Some happily climbed on others' shoulders. Some fell to the ground, grasping others' feet and wept. Some wrapped their hair around their feet, others' feet, not their feet. They wrapped their hair around others' feet. Some offered Dandavat obeisances to others' feet. Some embraced others. Someone said, I am Nimai Pandit, like the gopis, right? When they were performing Krishna's pastimes, one gopi played the role of Krishna killing Kaliya, like that. So some said, I am Nimai Pandit. I have come to deliver the world. Someone else said, I am a Vaishnav in Shvetadvip. Someone else said, I am the Lord's associate in Vaikuntha. Someone else said, where is that rascal Kazi? If I catch him today, I will cut his head into pieces. Some went to catch the blasphemers. Some said, the sinners and blasphemers are fleeing. Catch them, catch them. Someone again and again climbed a tree and jumped to the ground. You can tell nobody is in external consciousness. They're all ecstatic. Angry with the blasphemers, someone tore apart a wicker basket. Someone said, I am time personified, standing before the blasphemers. Someone screamed unnaturally. Someone went to bind Yamaraj and bring him there. Someone said, Oh Yamadutas, tell me, where is Yamaraj? The king of Vaikuntha had descended to the world and come into Sachi's house. Going from town to town, he now performs kirtan of his own holy names. The power of his name made your Yamaraj into the king of religion. The power of his holy name delivered the fallen Brahman Ajamil. The Supreme Lord now makes every mouth chant his holy name. They who have no power to chant can at least hear. If every living entity is thus delivered, I am not to be blamed if I at once stop Yamaraj's work. Because Yamaraj's job is to go and catch those who perform sinful activities. But if everyone is hearing and chanting the Lord's name, there won't be anyone to be judged by Yamaraj. Yamaraj will be out of job. So this devotee is saying, if every living entity is thus delivered, I am not to be blamed if I at once stop Yamaraj's work. So quickly go and tell Chitragupta. Chitragupta is the assistant of Yamaraj, the scribe. Quickly go and tell Chitragupta to throw away all the records of the sinners' sins. The power of the Supreme Lord's holy name made Varanasi into the king of holy places. The liberated residents of Shvetadvip always chant the Lord's holy name. It is the power of the Supreme Lord's holy name that made the demigod Shiva worshipped by all. Now the whole world has heard and chanted the Lord's name. Renounce all sins and chant the Lord's holy name. Worship Lord Chaitanya. Then I will not kill you. Devotee is saying this. Right? If you don't chant, then you'll be killed. But if you simply chant and if you worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will not kill you. So another person called in all the directions. Catch him! Catch him! Where is that Kazi? He has cheated us and fled. Where are the blasphemers, the sinners who do not like the chanting of Lord Krishna's names? Beating the ground. Remember, they were performing kirtan in Srivas Thakur's home, and there were so many blasphemers, always giving them trouble. So now they are saying, where are the blasphemers, the sinners who do not like the chanting of Lord Krishna's names? Beating the ground with his fist, someone called out, blasphemers! Walking from place to place, someone loudly called, Hari! In this way, everyone spoke and acted as if intoxicated, not on wine, but intoxicated with love for Lord Krishna. They did not remember who they were. Seeing the townspeople wild with ecstatic love, the blasphemers burned with anger. Meeting together, the blasphemers decided, when the Kazi comes, what will happen to their happy festival? What will happen to their loud calling out? What will happen to their singing and dancing? What will happen to their big parade? What will happen to their banana trees, water pots, and mangoes? Then all their words will be washed away. When the Kazi comes, sees all the burning lamps, sees the circle of devotees, and hears the great tumult, then we will see all these devotees jump into the Ganga. Someone said, I will stay here. I will tie the necks of the fleeing townspeople. Someone else said, I will go and tell the Kazi. Someone else said, this is not a good idea. Someone else said, my brother, there is only one action we should take. We should approach the devotees and tell them, the Kazi is coming. When they have weighed the importance of these words, not a single person will stay in this place. As the blasphemers chewed all these thoughts, Lord Chaitanya's associates, now wild with ecstasy, chanted the holy names of Lord Hari. Everyone's limbs were splendid with sandal paste and flower garlands. Everyone blissfully chanted Krishna. The town named Simulia was in an isolated part of Nadia. Dancing and dancing, Lord Chaitanya proceeded toward it. Hearing Lord Hari's name come from numberless millions of mouths, Lord Chaitanya, the jewel of the Brahmanas, roared and danced. How many tears flowed from the Lord's lotus eyes! How many streams of tears flowed over the Lord's pure and splendid limbs! Trembling, Lord Chaitanya jumped up into the sky and fell back again. Lord Nityananda wept. He could not hold the Lord still. At the end, Lord Chaitanya fainted in ecstasy. His body showed no sign of life. Everyone was frightened. Seeing these wonders, everyone said, this person must be Lord Narayan. Someone said, he is like Narada, Prahlad, and Sukadev. Someone else said, he may be whoever he is, but he is not a human being. In this way, everyone spoke according to his own realization. A great philosopher said, He is the best of Vaishnavas. Tasting the nectar of great devotion, the Lord was not in external consciousness. Raising his arms, he called out, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hearing these words from the Lord's graceful mouth, everyone at once shouted, Hari, Hari. Wherever Lord Chaitanya went, as he danced, everyone followed. The Lord had taken the path that led to the Qazi's house. Then the Qazi heard the tumultuous music of the kirtan. The Qazi said, Listen, O my brothers, what is that singing and music? Is it a marriage procession? Is it songs for worshipping ghosts? Who, jumping over my order, is performing the Hindu rituals? Quickly go and find out. Then I will go myself. On the Qazi's order, a servant ran there. Seeing the great multitude, he recited some verses from his scripture. He got scared seeing so many people. So, out of fear, he started chanting some verses from his scripture, like chanting some mantras. Then numberless millions of people shouted, Death to Qazi! At this, the Qazi's servant fled. He quickly returned and told the Qazi, What can you do? Quickly go, flee. Nimai Acharya is with millions and millions of people. How can you punish him? There are thousands and millions of burning torches. Thousands and millions of people are performing this Hindu ritual. At every door are banana trees, water pots, and mangoes. I saw that all the roads in Nadia are strewn with flowers. I do not know how many coins, flowers, and grains of puffed rice are scattered about. When I hear the loud music, I feel my 2 ears are being pulled up by their roots. Even when the king comes, no one acts like this in the towns of Nadia. Nimai Pandit is the leader of these devotees. Wherever he goes, as he dances, the others follow. The townspeople were attacked. Nay, the townspeople we attacked are there. They all shouted, Kill the Qazi. Nimai Acharya shouted very loudly, He is a Hindu saint, and this is how he acts. Yeah, Nimai Acharya. Well, this is a follower of Chand Kazi reporting to Kazi. So he's saying Nimai Acharya. Why Acharya? Because he's leading so many people. So he's calling Nimai Acharya. And also he's a Brahman. And he's a teacher. Teacher is Acharya. So it's fine. So he's saying Nimai Acharya shouted very loudly. He is a Hindu saint and this is how he acts. Right? Hindu saints, this is how he acts. Then someone said, why does this Brahmana weep? Streams of tears flowed from this Brahmana's eyes. Right? So they're not able. Why is he crying? So someone else said, Where is this Brahmana at? I think he always weeps because he is unhappy. Someone else said, I am afraid to look at this Brahmana. Thinking he will devour me, I tremble. Then the Qazi said, I think he's going to a wedding. If not, then he is performing a Hindu ritual. If that is so, then today I will take away the caste of the whole town. If they're actually doing some Hindu ritual. This way the Qazi reasoned to everyone. Then uh, there was a great tumult of the music. Or then he heard a great tumult of the music. Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of all people, had come dancing to the Qazi's town. So at first it was at a distance, they were hearing, and then it was coming closer and closer. Now it was right in Qazi's town. They heard this great tumult of music, the great tumult of millions and millions of people chanting the names of Lord Hari filled the Swarga, Martya, and Patala and other worlds. And if it is so close to his house, can you imagine what kind of effect it's having on them? Hearing that sound, the Qazi and his men trembled and fled. Like frogs frightened by a snake, they fled the Hindus. Lord Chaitanya's followers filled every place. The Qazi's frightened men did not know where to flee. Some loosened their turbans and danced unnoticed, pretending like they were also part of the devotee group, the Kirtan party. So they just loosened their turbans and they kind of put their heads down so that others don't see their beard and they acted like they were also devotees because they didn't know where to hide, where to run. In their hearts, though, they were very fearful. What if I get detected? So many people, they will beat me into pulp. I'll be dead here. So their hearts were palpitating out of fear. They who had beards lowered their heads. Shy, they did not lift their heads. Their hearts trembled in fear. The numberless millions of people did not notice them. They were in their ecstasy. The people were not even aware of their own bodies. Everyone danced, everyone joyfully sang, filling the universe. Everyone called out, Hari! Coming to the Kazi's door, Lord Chaitanya roared with anger. The Lord angrily said, where is the demon Kazi? I will catch him and sever his head. Today I will make the whole world a place where no Muslims live. As I did before, I will now kill all the Yavanas. Where will the Qazi go to save his life? Break the doors and the house, break them. Again and again the Lord spoke these words. Lord Chaitanya is the super soul in the hearts of all beings. Who can jump over his order? The people had become wild by tasting the nectar of love for Lord Chaitanya. On the Lord's order, they all began to enter the house. Some broke the door, some began breaking the house, some kicked, some roared, some broke and threw around the branches of mango and jackfruit trees. Some broke the grove of banana trees and cried out, Hari! Thousands and thousands entered the flower gardens, pulled up the flowers, threw them about, and roared. Again and again they broke the flowers and branches. Chanting Hari, they danced. They placed the Lord's name in every year. So as they were doing all this, they were continuously chanting Hari, Hari, Hari. So every year was filled with the sounds of Hari. Not a single petal or leaf remained in the garden. That's sorry, but it's Chand Kazi's garden. Not a single petal or leaf remained in the garden. Nothing at all remained intact in the Kazi's house. After breaking everything, everyone left the house. Then the Lord said, set the house on fire. Everyone, everyone start a fire. Set the four walls of the house on fire. Four walls of this house on fire. I will see how this king will punish me. Today I will see what these people do to escape. Yamaraj, time personified, and death personified are all the servants of my servants. All existence has come from my glance. I descended to this world to start the Sankirtan movement. I will kill anyone who tries to stop the Sankirtan movement. If a sinner joins the Sankirtan movement, I will certainly remember him. If ascetics, sannyasis, philosophers, yogis, or anyone else will not join the Sankirtan movement, then I will kill them. Set the house on fire. Don't fear. Today I will kill the Muslims. Seeing the Lord's anger, the devotees wrapped their shawls around their necks and fell to the ground. Extending their arms, the devotees grasped the Lord's feet and prayed, Lord Sankarshan, your first expansion never becomes angry at the wrong time. So Sankarshan is Anantasesh. At the time of annihilation, universal annihilation, he becomes angry and there's fires coming from his mouth and everything is burnt. But he doesn't become angry whenever he likes. He does it only at the right time. So the devotees are begging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sankarshan is your expansion. He also doesn't become angry at the wrong time. Only when it is time to destroy the material creation does Lord Sankarshan angrily appear as Rudra. This Rudra destroys the entire creation in a moment. Then at the end, he enters your body. Therefore, it is an expansion of your expansion that angrily destroys everything. Who has the power to stop you when you become angry? O Lord, you are full of bliss. You never become angry. This the Vedas sing. O Lord, it is not right that you refute the Vedas words. The Vedas say that you are Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Ananda, you are full of bliss. You never become angry. So don't make the words Vedas words false. You do not become angry at Brahma and the other living entities. For you, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world are all your pastimes. It's not that you're destroying out of anger, it's just your pastime. Today, you have given enough punishment to this Kazi. You destroyed everything, his garden, his house, you broke everything. So it was enough punishment. If he again acts against you, then you can take away his life. Spare him, don't kill him. Look at the devotees. How kind. They were the ones that were persecuted. And they are pleading on his behalf. Like Prahlad Maharaj praying for Hiranyakashipu. Then they said, glory to Vishwambar, the great king Vishwambar. Glory to the fair and handsome master of all the worlds. Glory, glory to he who reclines on Ananta, to he who is the husband of goddess Lakshmi. They're really glorifying him, pacifying him. You are our dear Lord. You are the great Lord. You are the husband of Lakshmi Devi, right? Raising their arms, the great devotees chanted these prayers. Lord Chaitanya smiled at his servant's words, saying, Hari! He began to taste the nectar of dancing. The Lord punished the Kazi in this way. So he didn't kill him. So again, when we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see actually the Lord had a dialogue with Chand Kazi. So, so Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami highlights on those aspects which were not touched by Vrindavan Das Thakur. He doesn't repeat the same things. That's why you find different points. That means those which are not covered by Vrindavan Das Thakur, he will elaborate on those like that. So the Lord punished the Kazi in this way. Then, dancing and tasting the nectar of Sankirtan with his associates, Lord Chaitanya, who is the king of all the worlds, departed. Playing mridangas, kartals, and conch shells and clapping their hands, the devotees sang, Jai Ram, Krishna, Govinda, Gopal. After destroying the Kazi's house, the townspeople, joyfully singing Hari and dancing, departed. So everybody left. The blasphemers' hearts were broken. They were thinking Chand Kazi will come and punish them and all their singing and dancing will stop. But the opposite happened. So their hearts were broken. The blasphemers were morose and the devotees were joyful. Clapping their hands, the townspeople sang Jai Krishna, Mukunda, Murari, Vanamali. In every town there was a great tumult of Jai. Everyone swam in an ocean of bliss. Who danced where? Who sang and who played musical instruments? Who went where? I don't know. Dancing, the devotees went ahead and Lord Chaitanya followed them. Brahma, Shiva, and Anantasesh sang as Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of Vaishnavas, danced. In your heart, please do not doubt any of this story. Then Lord Chaitanya will give you his mercy. Then, accompanied by numberless millions of people, Lord Chaitanya entered a village of conch shell merchants. Great bliss arose in the village of conch shell merchants. Chanting Hari, the people sounded mridangas, bells, and conch shells. Dancing, Lord Chaitanya proceeded down the flower-strewn path. The very beautiful torches glistened in the four directions. How can I describe the beauty of the moon that night when fair-limbed Lord Hari performed kirtan? At every door were banana trees, mangoes, and full water pots. Chanting Hari, the women made a tumult of glorious sounds. Every town and village was splendid and beautiful. Then Lord Chaitanya entered the village of weavers. A great tumult of jai and of mridanga music arose. The weavers were wild with bliss, clapping their hands and singing Haribol, Mukunda, Gopal, Vanamali. The townspeople danced. Hearing the name Hari come from every mouth, Lord Chaitanya smiled. Dancing, Lord Chaitanya proceeded to Sridhar's home. Lord Chaitanya went to Sridhar's home, which was a single broken down room. A single iron cup rested at Sridhar's doorway, a cup patched in many places, a cup even a thief would not take. Lord Chaitanya danced in Sridhar's courtyard. Then he saw Sridhar's cup. Knowing his devotees' pure love, Lord Chaitanya at once picked up that iron cup. Lord Chaitanya happily drank the water in that cup. Who had the power to say to him, "Don't do it"? Now I'm dead. I am dead. Sridhar screamed. You came to my house only to kill me. Saying these words, saintly Sridhar fainted. Then Lord Chaitanya said, now my body has become sanctified. Now that I have drunk Sridhar's water, I have finally attained devotion to Lord Krishna's feet. Now I possess true devotion to Lord Vishnu. Again and again saying these words, the Lord shed streams of tears from his eyes. In this way, Lord Chaitanya taught everyone. By drinking water from a Vaishnava, one attains devotion to Lord Vishnu. In the Padma Purana, Adi Khanda 31, 112, it is said, Prarthayed Vaishnavasyanam Prayatnena Vichakshanaha Sarva Papa Vishuddhyartham Tad Abhave Jalam Pibet. To become purified of all sins, a wise man will beg food from a Vaishnava. In the absence of food, he may drink the water offered by a Vaishnava. Seeing how the Lord loves his devotee, the devotees wept with joy. Nityananda and Gadadhar wept and fell to the ground. Advaita and Srivas fell to the ground and wept. Haridas, Gangadas, Vakreshwar, Murari, Mukunda, and Chandrasekhar wept. Govinda, Govindananda, Sri Garbha, Sriman, Kashishwar, Jagadananda, and Ramai wept. Jagadish, Gopinath, Nandana, Shuklambar, and Garuda, and everyone else all wept. Placing their hands on their heads, thousands and millions of people wept, saying, Lord Krishna, the master of they who have no other master, Lord Krishna, the master of they who have no other master, is my master. Lord Krishna is my master. Why did Lord Chaitanya display this pure love and devotion at Sridhar's house? I have not the power to say. Calling out Krishna, the whole world wept. His desire now fulfilled, Lord Chaitanya smiled. O my brothers, just see the glory of the Lord's devotees. For his devotees, the Lord feels the highest love. Lord Chaitanya very respectfully drank the water in the iron cup because, with the highest motive, the Lord desired to drink it. The devotee's water became sweet like nectar. To teach the truth about devotional service, the Lord drank water from that cup. Everything that belongs to a Vaishnava is pure and spiritual. To drink from it, the Lord will not cast his glance on splendid jeweled water cup of a proud person. Meaning, the Lord won't even look at the cup, a very a costly cup which has jewels on it, and which has water. Even if he's, why will he be in such a condition? But even if he's very thirsty, he won't even look at the cup of a proud person. And that cup may be very pure, very clean, very costly. He won't even look at it. But such dented, iron cup with water, from which the devotee had drunk, with great eagerness, the Lord drinks that water. With great love, he at once eats whatever his servant offers. He has no desire to wait until all the rituals of offerings are performed. This is also there. When a devotee offers, he doesn't even have to chant mantras, right? When he puts it immediately, the Lord does not wait for the pujari to ring the bell and say the mantras and all that. He is only looking for love. As soon as it is set on the altar, immediately he'll start eating. If his devotee offers it with love. If the devotee has very little food and therefore does not offer it, like Sudama Vipra, right? He has very little food and maybe insignificant, and how I can offer, right? At least it should be a plate full, nice. So the devotee does not offer thinking that this is not fit for the Lord. The Lord eats it by force. Also Shuklambar Brahmachari we saw, right? He thrust his hand into his jhola and he took out, and it was just broken rice, kacha, like uncooked broken rice. He just took, he ate it. He eats it by force. Why? Because it is the devotees. The Brahmana's broken rice at Dwaraka bears witness to this truth. The Lord also eats the remnants of his servant's meal, not just what he's offering, but after eating what is left on the devotee's plate, the Lord eats that. The vegetables of Yudhishthir when he lived in the forest bear witness to that truth. Remember when Durvasa Muni came, Draupadi was in such anxiety. How am I going to feed? Krishna appeared there and he said, see, maybe something is left. After she had eaten, everyone had eaten. After she washed it also, maybe something is left, check. So what was remaining after they ate, that the Lord is eaten. Lord Krishna's servant is Lord Krishna's father, mother, wife, and brother. Who can become Krishna's father and mother? Who can become Krishna's wife? Who can become Krishna's brother? Only Krishna's devotee can become. Lord Krishna does not consider his servant at all different from his own self. Right? He becomes a servant of his servant. As the servant meditates on the Lord, so the Lord manifests a form. Why he comes in so many forms? He comes uh, to satisfy, because the devotee has a desire. The devotee has that particular mood. He wants to serve the Lord as a friend. Then the Lord will come in that form to fulfill the desire of the devotee. As the servant meditates on the Lord, so the Lord manifests a form. He gives his servants the power to sell him to others. Not only is he coming, acting in whichever way the devotee desires, but he literally gives ownership on him, proprietorship on him to the devotee. So the devotee can do whatever he likes with the Lord. He can give the Lord to somebody, wherever he likes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead loves his servants. This devotee, his servants, he gives his servants the power to sell him to others. The Supreme Personality of Godhead loves his servants. So the Vedas sing, Lord Krishna always appears before his devotees. Filling your eyes, please gaze at the power of the Lord's servants. Out of love, Lord Krishna becomes the servant of his servants. Please don't use the word small with the word servant of Lord Krishna. Never use the word small servant, insignificant servant, lower. No. When he is a servant of the Lord, he is already very great. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, please don't use the word small with the word servant of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna never uses the words small or great to describe his servants. A person who for millions of births performs his prescribed religious duties, Varnashram Dharma, is non-violent and honest, all pious activities, right? Punya karma, does all his work and day and night prays to become a servant of the Lord, at the time of his death chants Narayan. That means to be able to chant the name of Narayan at the time of death, so much qualification is required. For millions of births, one should have done his duties, prescribed duty. So now you try to understand what is the position of those who are chanting today. How exalted they are that they are chanting the names of the Lord now. And what to speak of those who are able to chant the names of the Lord or hear the name of the Lord at the time of death. Yesterday, we got news that one of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, His Grace Haripad Prabhu, left his body in North Carolina. In the devotee community. And for the past 5 days, he was continuously hearing Srila Prabhupada chanting, and he had a very glorious pass away. So we don't know, right, who these devotees are that we are surrounded by. You will see it at the time of their passing away, you understand. But before that, we may commit offenses or whatever. So don't do that. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, never use the word small for a servant of Krishna. Right? So a person who for millions of births performs his prescribed duties, who is non-violent and honest, does all his work day and night, and he's praying to become a servant of Krishna, such a person is able to chant the name Narayan at the time of giving up his body. Then he becomes liberated. His material bondage is completely destroyed. After he is liberated in this way, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu Mad bhaktim labhate param. After he is liberated, after all that, then he becomes a true servant of Lord Krishna. All the true commentators of scripture give this explanation. After he attains liberation, a soul attains a body suitable for joining Lord Krishna's pastimes. In that body, the soul worships and serves Lord Krishna directly. The all-knowing commentator Srila Sridhar Swami explains in his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.21, Mukta api leelaya vigraham kritva bhagavantam bhajante. The liberated souls accept forms suitable for joining the Lord's pastimes. Then they worship and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. So first you're liberated. When you're liberated, then you get a body which is suitable to serve the Lord in his pastimes. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotee are equal. Indeed, the Supreme Lord thinks that he is defeated by his devotee. He thinks the devotee is greater than him. All the garlands of prayers that exist in the numberless universes are not enough to properly glorify the Lord's devotees. Brahma and Shiva happily call themselves servant of the Lord. Anantasesh, who holds up all the worlds, yearns for the qualification to serve the Lord. Although they are naturally equal to the Lord, the devotees love the Lord dearly. See, it is said the devotees and the Lord are on the same level, but still, even though they are naturally equal to the Lord, they just love the Lord so dearly. Because of their past sinful deeds, the sinners are unhappy when someone happily calls Advaita Acharya a devotee of the Lord. If somebody is seeing himself as a devotee of Advaita Acharya, and if Advaita Acharya is addressed as a servant of the Lord, this follower of Advaita Acharya becomes unhappy. Why he is becoming unhappy? Because of his past sinful deeds. He is becoming unhappy when Advaita Acharya is addressed as a devotee of the Lord. Whereas Advaita Acharya is making all plans so that the Lord will treat him like a servant, will beat him up. That is Advaita Acharya's mode. Lord Krishna himself is happy to be called a devotee. Who but Lord Krishna himself knows the devotee's true nature? The point is how exalted it is to be known as a devotee of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna. Krishna himself is yearning to be known as a servant. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only to fill their bellies do the sinners declare, I am the Supreme Lord himself. At the root, these people are worthless, like old and tired oxen. Their disciples are like donkeys and jackals. Some of them declare, now I have become Lord Ramchandra. Bewildered by Lord Vishnu's Maya, they declare, I am the Supreme Lord, even though the truth is that their bodies are fit to be eaten by dogs. Lord Chaitanya is the master of all. Filling your eyes, please gaze at his powers. By his will, millions and millions of powers and glories and opulences are at once manifest. How many millions of torches burned with great brilliance because of his will? By whose power were banana trees suddenly planted beside every door? Right? All of a sudden, millions, every home had a banana tree. By whose power did they manifest all of a sudden? By whose power were great singing and instrumental music suddenly manifested? By whose power did flowers rain from the sky? I do not understand the great love the Lord displayed by drinking water from Sridhar's cup. Seeing the Lord's love for his devotees, the three worlds wept. Some people fell to the ground and their hair did not stay neatly tied. Sridhar wept. Placing a blade of grass between his teeth, he loudly called out, Hari, as tears flowed from his eyes. Why did the king of the three worlds drink this water? Sridhar asked. Sridhar danced, wept, and called out, Hi, hi, the Lord drank my water, hi, hi. Lord Chaitanya drank his devotees' water. The king of Vaikuntha danced in Sridhar's courtyard. Tasting the sweet nectar of devotion, the dear devotees surrounded him in the four directions and sang. Nityananda and Gadadhar were splendid at his two sides. Please gaze on the ultimate in good fortune attained by the banana leaf seller, Sridhar, a servant of the Lord. Please gaze on the ultimate in good fortune. What is the topmost good fortune? The ultimate good fortune. That is the good fortune attained by Sridhar. What is that ultimate good fortune? To be a servant of the Lord. Gazing on Sridhar's glories, Brahma and Shiva wept. By wealth, followers, and learning. Please pay attention. By wealth, followers, and learning, one does not attain Lord Krishna. Only by pure devotional service does one bring Lord Chaitanya under one's control. By wealth, followers, and learning, one does not attain Lord Krishna. Only by pure devotional service does one bring Lord Chaitanya under one's control. After giving mercy to Sridhar by drinking his water, Lord Chaitanya again entered the town. As loud sounds of Hari were heard in the four directions, Lord Chaitanya, the master of all the mellows of devotional service, danced. The splendor and beauty of Navadvip defeats the splendor and beauty of all the worlds. In Navadvip, the word Hari is heard from every tongue. The same spiritual bliss tasted by Sukadev, Narada, and Shiva made all the towns of Nadia wild with joy. That means every person in Nadia, in all the towns of Nadia, is experiencing the spiritual bliss which is experienced by Sukadev Goswami, by Narad Muni, and by Lord Shiva. How are they experiencing this? By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The king of the three worlds danced in every part of Navadvip. He went to Gadi Gacha, Paradanga, and Majida. Please do not think all this happened in a single night. So much happened in just one night. No, please do not think all this happened in a single night. Many kalpas, you know what is a kalpa? 1 day of Brahma. 1 day of Brahma consists of 1000 yuga cycles. Many kalpas passed during that night of the Lord's Kirtan. Nothing is impossible for Lord Chaitanya. By moving his eyebrow, he destroys the universes. A very fortunate person can understand this truth. A sinful, dry logician cannot understand it at all. In whatever town the king of Vaikuntha danced, everyone swam in an ocean of bliss. Seeing the shouts, the tumult, and the streams of tears, the men and women in Nadia wept. Someone said, I offer my respectful obeisances to the feet of Sachi, from whose womb this great person was born. Someone else said, Jagannath Mishra was a great saint. Someone else said, the good fortune of Nadia has no end. Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes in this way for many kalpas. Everyone said, huh? So Mahaprabhu is enjoying for many kalpas and they were all in one night. How did this happen? Like Rasalila also was one full kalpa of Lord Brahma, but it was one night. What is not possible for the Lord? So everyone said, from this night the sun will not rise. Everyone called out Jai. No sound but Hari was spoken by anyone. Seeing Lord Chaitanya, everyone offered Dandavat obeisances. The men, women, and children all fell to the ground. Casting a merciful glance on everyone, Lord Chaitanya continued his blissful pastimes. These pastimes never come to an end. It's not like it's gone, it's still happening. It is still happening. The Vedas say only that sometimes they can be seen, Avirbhav, and sometimes they cannot be seen by ordinary people, Tirobhav. The Lord appears before the devotees in whatever form they meditate on Him. This is described in these words of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:9-11. Yadyadhyata urugaya, nay, Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tad vapuhu pranayase sad anugrahaya. O my Lord, you are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. So, the way a devotee meditates, in that form, the Lord appears in front of him. Even at this very moment, Lord Chaitanya enjoys all these pastimes. And all pastimes are happening at all times. It's not like only one pastime is happening at a time. All pastimes are happening at all times. They who are fortunate see these pastimes eternally. Every time he descends to this world, the Supreme Lord takes his liberated devotees with him. Only the devotees and no one else can understand the Lord's activities. If passing many millions of births in yoga, yajna, and austerities, a person does not perform devotional service, he will not obtain any good result from his endeavors. A person who does not serve the devotees will not attain devotional service. Therefore, all the scriptures say that one should serve the devotees. Glory, glory to Lord Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose mercy Lord Chaitanya manifested the Sankirtan movement. Someone said, Nityananda is the same person as Balaram. Someone else said, he is most dear to Lord Chaitanya. Someone else said, he is a very powerful expansion of the Lord. Someone else said, I do not have the power to understand who he is. The people may say that Nityananda is an individual soul, or that he is a devotee or a philosopher. Why should the people not say whatever they like about Lord Nityananda? Why should Nityananda not be thought a devotee of Lord Chaitanya? Lord Nityananda's feet are the great treasure I keep in my heart. I kick the heads of the sinners who mock and blaspheme Lord Nityananda. I offer respectful obeisances to the feet of Lord Chaitanya's dear devotees. May Lord Nityananda, the moon of Avadutas, be my master. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, I know the truth of Lord Nityananda. Because Lord Nityananda teaches me, I know the truth of Lord Chaitanya. So how I know about Nityananda Prabhu? By Mahaprabhu's mercy. Then how I know Mahaprabhu? Because Nityananda is teaching me. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna and Lord Nityananda is Sankarshan. Lord Nityananda is devotion to Lord Chaitanya personified. He has all the powers of the Lord. The exalted servants of Lord Chaitanya can understand the narrations of Lord Nityananda's Srimad Bhagavatam's pastimes. If you see the devotees quarreling among themselves, important. If you see the devotees quarreling among themselves, please know that this is all Lord Krishna's pastime. Please do not understand it in any other way. If a person takes the side of one Vaishnava in this quarrel and then blasphemes another Vaishnava, the Vaishnavas will be okay, but the blasphemer will perish. Right? If you are thinking I'm supporting one devotee, I take sides of devotees, and then I take one side of the devotee, and because that is the opposition party, so I will blaspheme that devotee. The person who is doing this may be in support of a Vaishnava, but when we blaspheme, we will perish. A person who worships Lord Krishna in all respects and does not blaspheme others will be counted among the Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances to the feet of Lord Advaita. May I think of him with love. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya and all his associates. Anyone who hears this Madhyakanda will attain devotional service. Hari Bol. Anyone who hears this Madhyakanda will attain devotional service. Anyone who in a quarrel takes Advaita's side and then criticizes Gadadhar is a sinner. He is not a true servant of Lord Advaita. By the sweet nectar of these descriptions of Lord, may the sweet nectar of these descriptions of the Lord nourish the thoughts of all spirit souls. May the sweet nectar of these descriptions of the Lord nourish the thoughts of all spirit souls. Anyone who enjoys hearing these descriptions of Lord Chaitanya will someday gaze on Lord Chaitanya's face. That is inevitable. You will see the Lord face to face someday. That has to happen. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, are my life and soul. I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their feet. Finally, we concluded that chapter. So next Saturday, we will read the next chapter. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for your patience. You stayed through the whole thing.
Hari Hari.
Hari, we read for 1.5 hours. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hari.
Hari.
Hari.